Today we're going to do our hands-on painting assignment. Now you can go to RoseArt and you can go to the dollar store and buy some little cheapy watercolors, or you can get, now I don't have a small version of this, but Walmart, someplace like that, you can buy a small kind of version of paint in any color, but you do need paint to complete this assignment. And I'm going to show you each of the ways to do it. Okay, so we're going to open up our watercolor set. We've got our little paintbrush, and I've got water right here. I'll try and move the water so you can see where the water is. Yeah, all right, looks good. Okay, the thing with working in watercolor is wherever the water is, that's where the paint or the color will go. So let's just take, and I want you to do this, you're just going to put clean water and run out a little strip. And then you can pick any color you want. And I want you to load up your paintbrush and only put the paint at the very top edge. Okay. Then I want you to get just plain water, and I want you to run the water down, or just with the water, run the value down. I'm going to get a little more color, same color, put it up at the top. You notice with watercolor, it's not like painting a wall, all right? You don't go all the way down with your color. Now, I just ripped the end off. Now, the other thing you can do with watercolor is with a very dry brush, you can actually erase it. So I'm squeezing out my paint brush, and so we can work on a really nice shade. All right, let's say you don't have watercolor set and you just have your, oh, that was ugly. Shaking it up. That's a gross sound. Sorry about that. There we go. So, and yeah, you can just do this on a dinner plate. It'll wash right off. It's non-toxic. So again, I'm going to take my water and I'm going to run it down. Now you don't have to do both of these. I'm just showing you the different techniques. Then we'll get a little bit of water, and we'll put the color up at the top, then clean all the color out, and it'll blend down in the same way. Now, you might wonder, you might ask, well, Schmidt, that seemed to go easier. That's because there's more pigment in acrylic paint than in watercolor. I mean, more pigment in acrylic paint than there is in watercolor paint. I did say it right. All right, same process. You can erase by using, just your dry brush. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way. And we're going to draw a simple shape. First thing you're going to do is you're going to draw something that looks like a modified C. Okay. And then on the other side, you're going to draw something that looks like a modified C again. In between these, you're going to put a little scoop there and a little kind of wavy line there. Now, while I'm doing this, feel free to stop the video if you need to draw something. Then up here at the top, we're going to put a curved line. a straight line, and then a curved line that joins back in. All right. Now, with watercolor, there are 3 basic kinds. There's wet on wet, which is what we're going to start out with. So I'm going to get my paintbrush, and inside the apple shape, in case you didn't realize that's what we're doing, inside the apple shape, I'm going to paint just clear water. Nothing else, just water. Then you're going to pick a color, and I'm going to make mine a 2-tone apple. So I'm going to use yellow, which is my lightest color, and I'm going to go around the edge, and then just take my clear water and wash in the center. Again, around the edge, and then my clear water to wash into the center. All right, just like with pencil, your paintbrush marks are as important. If you want to darken it up, just simply put more around the outside to blend it in. But you want it lighter in the middle. You want that level of shading. Things that are closer to you are usually, if it's inside, it's lighter. Okay? Now, you're going to pause the video and come back a little bit later because we're going to let this dry a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah. No. Come on. You guys know me well enough by now to know that I sometimes can't decide. Oh, I got too much color inside, and I'm just going to remove that. So pause the video and come back in a little bit. Okay, we're back. I just wanted to let it dry a little bit, and I'm just using some toilet tissue and gently blotting at it to get some of the excess water away. And I'm going to come in with my second color. And my second color is going to be red in the case of mine. And this time I'm just going to go down and up, kind of like I'm making a zigzag on it. So the watercolor itself is a little bit moist. All right. And again, I'm going to put my colors toward the bottom, and I'm just putting in water. Okay, I'm just putting in the water. And I'm going to put some down from the top as well. You see how I'm using those curved lines? Mostly just curved lines. And now I'm just going to put water on top. You might say, well, Schmidt, why did you put that yellow on there? Well, can you see the yellow in there? Of course you can. All right, darker near the edges, lighter as it comes in. And here's where we're going to take our erasing part, and we're going to absorb some of that water that's in there. Squeezing out. Squeezing out. And I just dot it down. Now I'm going to put a little bit of yellow on top. Same kind of process, that zigzaggedy process going back and forth. I'm going to make it again darker on the outside, lighter as it comes in. I'm going to take some of that extra water that's out here, try and take that away. I'll put some more yellow, maybe near the top a little bit more, kind of on the shoulders of that apple. Trying to get that darker edge, just wants to keep creeping in. It wants to keep creeping in. Here we go. And I'm just tapping to get a little bit darker up there. And then letting it merge down. Okay, and we're gonna leave it again. Oh, maybe not quite yet. You see how this isn't on watercolor paper, yours won't either. And you see how it's making puddles? And the only way to get rid of those puddles is to get rid of the water. So you kind of have to mop it up a little bit. I'm not staying inside my lines very well. All right, I'm taking my tissue again and patting at it. And you see it took up a lot of my color, which I'll be honest with you, I'm not terribly excited about. But what goes down what goes up can also come back down. So we're gonna just do our little zigzaggedy again. And our little zigzaggedy. Zigzaggedy. And again with our yellow, zigzaggedy. Zigzaggedy. Now I'm going to let it dry for a bit. Of course, you can always speed up the process by using a blow dryer. All right, so we've gotten our wet on wet. We've got our wet on dry. I'm going to go and put a little more accents in here with my lighter color. Again, keeping with that curve of the apple. All right, I'm just going to put a few in. This would definitely be wet on dry, so that the lines won't go in as much. And you're going to get a little bit of brown and you're going to just lightly touch along the base. Then take a little bit of water and go along that as well. And you can keep repeating that as much as you want to get it as dark or as light as you want. And then you're going to do the same thing up near the top. Okay. Again, with the water along the base. This is just going to serve as kind of a shadowing or a little bit of shading I'm going to put a little bit along the edge as well. If you remember in your color video, he talked about using complements. And if you remember when we made our color wheel, we put the complements in the neutrals toward the center. Because those are made from using the complements, and the complements are actually made from using the primaries and all primaries mixed up. But see, it just gives it a little bit of shading, a little bit of darkness along the edge. And again, how much or how little is dependent on you, because you are the artist. I don't like the way this is looking down at the bottom here with that little wicky edge on it. So I'm gonna soften those edges a little bit. I don't like the way they look. Again, all art is interpretation, and you know, the fact, what is art, who decides? Part of the reason that works is because of this postmodern idea of individuals choosing what they think is art and isn't art. That's why sometimes you may look at something and say, that's just ugly. Well, you know what? That artist decided that that's what they wanted to do. Now, I'm going to turn on my volume again. All right, now I'm going to do the dry on dry. So I'm going to take my paintbrush, get most of the water out, and then I'm going to put it in my brown. This is for my stem. So I'm going to paint in my little stem. I think I got too much water on it, so I'm going to use my dried paintbrush to absorb some of it. See if I can get it a little bit better. Here we go. Remember, the extender for watercolor is gum arabic, and that puts in. All right, now you're going to get a little bit of black, and on the down side of your stem, you're going to put a little bit of black and just let it blend as it would. Now, you can do all this same stuff with the acrylic paint, and I'm going to fast forward through it so that you can see how it can be done. And there you got it. Let's see if I can move it so it'll be pretty. I want to keep it all. You got to make pretty. Maybe I'm not pretty.